Assalamu alaikum guys. Mohammad Hijab just knocked out JJ Bumstead in under 2 minutes. This fight, it it ended as brutally as possible. You guys probably don't even know who Mohammad Hijab is, but like let me give you a quick summary. Mohammad Hijab, he is a Muslim YouTuber. He talks about debate, politics, etc. Like growing up, he was and still is one of my biggest like role models. As a young Muslim teen, of course. Like, and the thing is, like, he, as I said, he's a debater, a podcaster, a lot of things. He has over 1 million subscribers, but he's also a professional MMA fighter right now. He trained with Khamzat Chimaev for a, for a little bit, I think, and he also trained with a guy who I think beat Thomas Penal once upon a time. Yeah, I think so. I'm not entirely sure if that's true, but I just heard that in one of his videos. Anyways, he just fought. He just fought in his second ever fight against JJ Bumstead, who Mohammad Jab before this fight was 1-0 and 100% knockout, and JJ was also 1-0. JJ fought in another promotion, and he knocked his opponent out in 20 seconds, I think. Yeah, and they both were obviously then undefeated heavyweights. Both 100% knockouts, of course. Like that's no joke, because if you see the fight, Mohammad Hijab versus JJ, it's actually a very high level. Like, honestly, like, I'm just being honest, because Mohammad Hijab, this Mohammad Hijab who fought JJ, he reminded me of Alex Pereira when he fought Ankala, because he's just no bullshitting, no messing around, just going straight to the point, just without any hesitation. Like, he just absolutely went for it, because he knew that his opponent is very dangerous, and if he doesn't aggress from the beginning, that his opponent will. That's the exact reason, and that's the smart thing that I love about Hijab. Like, he's thinking, his fight IQ is very high. Even in his fight against Reese here, he's conditioning, striking, grappling. If I watched the entire fight, and it was absolutely insane. Anyways, the thing is, JJ is now one and one. It is official. It is official record. And in this fight, actually, I'll be honest, right? I thought it's either gonna go one out of two. It's either like Reese, JJ is obviously, as I said, his previous knockout and his previous and only fight ended in a 20-second knockout by him. So I really thought that like Mohammad is obviously huge. Mohammad Jab is like I think he's 6'5" or something. Like, he's like Tyson Fury size, and most of his opponents are pretty smaller than me as far as height goes. And the thing is, when I saw Mohammad Hijab for the weigh-in, like after the weigh-in, he looked like his body mass looked so small. Like he became from Daniel Cormier to John Jones, I guess you can say. Like, he looked like his physical size was huge, but his like actual weight, his body mass, and his pecs, they were like just they just absolutely disappeared. And I was very surprised when I saw that video of his shape before this fight. Insane. Anyways, the thing is, I really thought that JJ might knock him out in the first, like might knock him out instantly, because seeing his previous fight was so deadly, right? But Muhammad's aggression, absolutely insane. Even in the ring walk and in the face off before the fight, like Muhammad Hijab, like he was just up, like he knew that he was gonna play with fire and he was gonna enjoy it. So as soon as the fight started, he just went up there, he just pushed forward and absolutely thumb, absolutely just dominated, just ate JJ alive, and it was honestly beautiful, because like it obviously ended in a TKO. And like when they got to the ground, JJ is obviously a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he tried to grapple with Hijab, but like Muhammad's power, we all know just by looking at him, like how physically strong he is, how blessed he is. And obviously, a satisfying win, I guess, by Hijab. Now he's 2-2, 2-0, all knockouts, insane. And he called out another fighter from a different promotion, who I apologize for getting the name of. But to be honest, it really sounds like a fun fight, because the way in which Muhammad called him out, like absolutely insane. Like, it feels like there's bad blood already with this upcoming fight. But yeah, I hope it happens pretty soon, to be honest, because as I said, like Mohammad just knocked him out in 2 minutes, so he should make a quick turnaround, I guess, if you can say, at this level. But after it, he said that he wants to fight for the UMMA heavyweight title, which is very interesting, I'll be honest, because Mohammad Hijab being a heavyweight world champion, it is technically being an MMA world champion, because UMA is an official organization. So that's absolutely mad, like absolutely mad. But if Muhammad continues like this, like if he continues with this momentum, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. But anyways, the thing is, Mohammad Hijab, with him doing MMA, it's it's inspiring a lot of other YouTubers, a lot of Muslim YouTubers, non-Muslim YouTubers, people who aren't even involved in boxing or MMA. It's inspiring a lot of them to actually try this, to actually try boxing or MMA, and that I think is absolutely beautiful, and that's the reason why I really love him, because he means a lot to me, and it feels great to have the privilege to cover his fighting, and he obviously releases all of his fights, which absolutely for free on YouTube. You guys can go check it out. Absolutely insane first round knockout. Anyways, that's my sauce, you guys. You guys, and shall assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.